Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Chika Amelia Anugrah Anhar from 3BD class. This is my article review. I select my article from Proceedings Second International Research, a conference on corporate social responsibility and sustainable development. The title of my journal article is A Study on Sustainable Revival of Hospitality Industry Post-COVID-19 Pandemic. The first case of COVID-19 is occurred in Hubei province of Wuhan on December 2019. COVID-19 take off the disease by World Health Organization on January 2020. And then on March 2020, COVID-19 detected for the first time in India because of the foreign travel in Kerala. To minimize spread of the viruses, Indian government done the travel advisory restriction such as ban on visa, self-quarantine policies, work from home, and social distancing. All of the activities that should be done outside immediately stopped due to rising cases of pandemic. However, the hospitality industry is smashed by the outbreak of pandemic all over the world. This is caused by a reduction in the foreign tourist arrivals across the world. So, the hospitality industry depends on domestic travelers. Because of that, sudden lockdown has caused loss to all sectors of the economy, and also the hospitality industry work from home option cannot go properly. This journal article has 4 keywords which is discussed. The first keywords is sustainable. The meaning of sustainable is maintain at a certain about our issue. The second is revival. That's mean what can we do to rise up from this disease? And then hospitality industry, which is an important part of the economic sector all over the world. The last is post-COVID, means our life when the COVID-19 is over. So there are 3 research problem and research objective from this journal article. The research problem is how to study the impact of COVID-19 on hospitality industry. 2. How to identify the possible difficulties faced by hospitality industry post-COVID-19. 3. How to suggest the sustainable measures to the revival of hospitality industry. And then the research objectives is 1. To study the impact of COVID-19 on hospitality industry. 2. To identify the possible difficulties faced by hospitality industry post-COVID-19. 3. To suggest the sustainable measures to the revival of hospitality industry. We can know that how condition hospitality industry in India during the pandemic. From that, there is 7 condition that I find from this journal article. The first condition is impact of COVID-19 that affecting the overall gross domestic product or GDP. This This condition is known by the literature review from Hospitality Net. The second condition is hotel business is capital sensitive that has higher fixed costs, and many people in India lost their jobs. And then the third condition is the outbreak of pandemic hindered the growth tourism and hospitality industry, and future seems uncertain. And the fourth condition is hospitality industry that is badly hit with the outbreak of pandemic, causing by foremost financial loss. And the fifth condition is the family and the workers of that work on hospitality industry has worse affected lives because of the crisis pandemic. And then the sixth condition is many employees from the travel and airline companies were sent home without salary. And then the last is a big impact on India, which has a large population and extreme poverty. So from the condition that we have, India badly smashed with the outbreak of pandemic. Many workers, employees, and their families affected by this pandemic because of many employees were sent home without salary. And then this is how India revival from the pandemic. There are 10 steps that India revival from the pandemic. The one is India must be realistic, must have the realistic prediction and budgeting about recovery business. And then more emphasis on marketing and sales by digital platform like Instagram or the other social media. And then create an optimistic social image in the market so that we can build up and then identify and implement strategies that will be in accordance to the changing customer expectation. Then try out to format to business that will stabilize the cash flow. And then utilization of artificial intelligence for applying social distancing and disinfectant practices wherever possible. And redesigning the layout in various seating arrangement in the public areas. Then create healthy environment through installing ozonator, sanitizer, organic food supply, and etc. And then we India can proper forecasting, planning, and coordination to minimize costs. And the last is ensure curbing of cash flow disruption. This step can be used to raise up the economic sector in India so that the gross domestic products will raise up with these steps. Not only that, thanks to revival from pandemic, India must have plans for post-COVID-19. Plans that I found from this journal article is the central government have to support and focus on catering to domestic tourists and changing the pattern food and beverage to normal operation. And then the hotel must have the good operation with the provision of safe and secure space for guests and staff serving them. And then we can introducing the technology mobile check-in and contactless service to minimize spread of coronavirus. And then drafting new normals SOP that focus on hygiene, sanitation, and touch point. Target customers will cancellation friendly offers. Hotel employees must have awareness and prerequisite skill to new normal working environment. Highlight multi-skilling employees that can be used to improve the hygiene, amendment of SOPs, clinically sanitized area, so that that can be used in this pandemic era. And the last is strong measure should be adopted to recover from the continuous slowdown post-COVID-19. The government-supported fiscal policies will help in the recovery of hospitality industry. To help in sustainable revival of tourism, Indian can apply this step to help that. First is use of PPE kits should be mandatory. Famous destination government authorized to control the spread of disease. Control a number of tourists entering the destination, like readjust the tourists to entering the destination, such as 50% from the normal capacity. Social distancing normal to be followed while traveling. Social distancing normal is 1 centimeter from the each people. Hotels to follow strict guidelines laid by Ministry of Tourism. This can be used to minimize the virus to spread. And then hotels should focus on attracting domestic tourists. Attracting the domestic tourists can be decrease the case of COVID-19. Our customized package for business client. Frequent disinfection of common touch points. Provision of clinically safe hotel areas for safety and security of guests as well as employees. So the clinically hotel safe areas not only for the guests but also for the employees. Drafting of new SOP to enhance the work culture post COVID-19. Hotels to focus on corporate social responsibility. And then provision of health and medical facilities at the tourist destination. This is the important things that used to this pandemic era, so that if there is people who affected by the coronavirus, handle it fast. Government financial support and reforms towards revival of hospitality industry. COVID-19 got the world business seems to be at the edge of correction. The vaccine hope that can trust in the mind of mankind, but the impact of obliteration will stay at least 2 until 3 years of constructive and neat planned approach to rebuilding in order to sustain and get back on normal place. Hospitality need to understand and start to planning strategies with all the stakeholders. A harmonized approach will accelerate the rebuilding process. Government can play a crucial role in monitoring and keeping them together. Thank you for your time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.